Hey guys, this is Rocket Man here, or another name I go by is Genesis. I'm wearing this hat because I didn't get a haircut, but you know what? Take it off, okay? This is the coronavirus time, so I can't fix things. But anyway, um, I usually deal with economics. That's my specialty. I like looking at global trade. And on the left here is a chart of the yield curve in the USA, and on the right is the chart of the unemployment claims of the USA, and you can see they both have exploded. This is the beginning of a recession or a depression. But this video is quite special. I'm making this video because I want to, I was traveling around the world, and I currently landed in China before the this Corona stuff happened. And I saw the news on the internet. I studied, studied the history of China, and while studying the history and the social history and the government, I noticed a lot of stuff outside of China that wasn't true. And I want to give you my experience in this country. I have videos, and I want to show them to you to demonstrate how I've been treated here, and people's reaction toward me, and my experience in China, mainland China. I'm not in Hong Kong or Taiwan, but mainland China. And I want to give you guys a message. It's not just for Africans in Africa, but the whole world. This is a message for everybody. And it's a message of peace. I believe that we are actually one human species, and that we should learn to live in peace with each other. Okay. You're going to see that some of the terminology I use will be racism, narcissism, or race. Here's how, when I use this term, so that you won't get confused, here's how I will use the term. Racism is something that's rooted in hate for something that has never harmed anyone. And by this, I'm referring to a chemical called melanin, or color, color of your skin. So that's how I define it. You can see the definition of narcissism. I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it. Wow. And here's a race. You may hear this term. You say this term. Well, race is pseudoscience. Okay, and there's no such things as a subset of race of humans. This is a fact. Okay, it's an outdated term that's not true. Races of humans do not exist. So something that's widely used by people or ignorant people does not make it a fact. You may be ignorant to the fact of it. So there's only one race, the human race. You and I, and all humans, are actually Africans. Okay, we're all Africans, and we as one human race have various ethnic groups, cultures, and languages. So those are certain terms I may use in this article, in this video. I don't really make videos with my face on it or do videos. But you're going to hear those terms in this video if I use them. I'm going to show you my experience in China right now. Here's a video of me walking around in China. Just a moment. I got to pull up the videos. Pause it. So this is me. Sorry, I don't have any sound as I thought I did, but I borrowed the camera and just messed up. Okay, so I'm saying that basically the same thing as what I'm saying now. I'm just at a grocery store walking around. You can see the background that I'm in China at the moment. And let me fast forward, and I'm gonna go into the grocery store to buy some food. Okay, so I'm in a grocery store. Wait, I said ni hao to this young lady over there. Oh, what's going on? And she said hello. Okay, very polite, very kind, very good to me. And I bought this. You can see I have this in my hand. I bought it. if you saw in the video. And I bought gummy worms. Well, I guess I threw them in the trash. Yeah, he says, "Oh." Alright, and I'm just paying for it, the item. And you know, in China they use cell phones. They don't use. It's a cashless society, especially during this time. They don't use cell phones. I mean, they don't use cash because of the coronavirus exacerbated this practice. Okay, okay. Now I'm gonna go to show you a video. That's me buying stuff. I'm able to purchase stuff. They don't, reject me. Okay. Another thing, I'm in. I'll show you a video. Oh, here's something cleaning outside. Hold on. Okay, here's another video of me walking through a metal detector in the D-tier subway, right? Right, there we go. No problem, right? No problems. No remarks, no comments, nothing. Okay, so I am continuing here. There I go. And has no sound, like I said before. So, yeah, it's not. It doesn't have a sound. Okay. Hey. So, what I'm doing here is, let me just turn this thing off. I'm walking in the subway. I'm going to the 自动取款机. 自动取款机 is the ATM, and I'm showing you that I'm taking money here. Of course, I can't really use it because China is mainly a cashless society, but I just took out, some money myself. Okay, so what's really cool is that while I was in the subway, right? I had you notice I had this bag, right? I had this bag, right? And this coconut water, right? Coconut water was in my bag. I forgot that it was in my bag, and I didn't drink it because I was saving it to make the video. And I told him that I didn't have water in my bag, right? Let me go here. Where is the? Make sure it's on. Okay, it's on. So like I was saying, it was in my bag here, and I was walking through the metal detector, and then you put your bag in the bag machine, whatever it's called, right? And they detected something, and I said to him, I don't have anything in my bag, right? Right? But of course I'm polite, right? And he said, 你包里有水, right? 有水, right? And that just means your bag has some liquid or some water inside it. 水 means water. Yeah, it means water. And I said no. And then, I opened it up and I said, oh, and I looked at it. And actually, the way he spoke to me is very polite, right? He had a good gentleman to me, very friendly, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I was wrong. I got the. It wasn't water. It was coconut water, right? And now I can finally drink this thing. Okay, it's on. Okay, my recorder is on. Great. Okay, next, after the went to the 超市, went to the mall. Yeah, I went to the mall, right? Here I was outside the mall, right? And this guard, you can see here that he is scanning my my hand, because this is some type of temperature device that scans your body temperature or scans your temperature. And I almost forgot what I was holding in my hand. This is a pad. It's my pad. You know, this pad here, right? Like what is that? So I have a pad in my hand, and he's scanning my hand. And after I go inside, I have to scan again. There's some other process that you have to do after you do this, right? And one way, I think the only way for you to do that is to be able to speak Chinese, to know what to do, or else they'll just be fed up and not want you to do anything. All right, going into the mall after being scanned. Here I am. I have scanned, and I'm going in. No problem. And here I said in the video, you have to scan, right? But you can't hear my voice here. But I remember I said something like you have to scan. You can't just walk in. You know, a lot of foreigners don't understand this, I guess, and they're not allowed in because they don't know what to do. And they don't have a way to communicate. Okay, so here I'm in the mall, walking around, no problems whatsoever. You know, people say hello to me, greet me, and I started to say, hey, make a video of walking in the mall. And there's not a lot of foot traffic today in there. Okay, but you have stores open and people greet you. You can buy. I think that was a place where you could buy bread and cocoa tea and stuff. And I completely forgot what I said here. Okay, I'm probably saying it's okay. I forgot. Yeah. So I'm walking around here, and oh yeah, I remember I pointed to Huawei. Huawei, where is it? Where is it? There it is. I look. Oh, Huawei. Right. Huawei phones. They have 5G now. Already in China. It's like no big deal. Okay, so the next video here is going home. Going home. So here I'm going home, and you're gonna see that again. They're gonna scan me again, and like I said, they're gonna check my temperature again. And then I have to go to the right side and scan there again, right? This is just basically a way to, by ensuring your safety, I think it's a way to ensure your, people are crying about human rights, right? Human rights and stuff. So, but this is a pandemic, and I think that making sure everyone is safe is a good way to ensure your human rights, or whatever you're calling it. Another thing is, if you were in a car, let's say your car blows up. You have a family of 5 in there, and it starts to catch on fire or something, right? You're not going to argue about who goes in the front seat. You just trying to get everything done, So. Apparently, I guess in America, even if the car is on fire, didn't I start the video over again? I thought I started the video. Okay, I'm being recorded. Yeah, I need to start this video. Yeah. Even in America, even when the car is on fire, you're arguing over the front seat. But this doesn't. In China, you don't argue over the front seat. That if your car is on fire. So here I'm scanning this thing. Right, and he's gonna take my temperature, and those are like businesses, coming and going out, and it's getting a little bit relaxed. Excuse me, oops, sorry, getting a little bit relaxed here, because the coronavirus, everything is toning down. But I still scan everything and doing everything the right, do all the procedures correctly. Yeah, and so one thing what I was trying to say about human rights before is that when it comes to these pandemics, my view is we have to have a priority. That's why I made the analogy about the car on fire. We don't argue about the people in the front seat. Well, then we don't argue about who's going to get the front seat. If the car is on fire. I mean, I guess some societies would argue over the front seat in a burning car, but I wouldn't. I don't see the purpose of arguing over the front seat if the car is on fire, right? There's no sense of that. So I think priority is important, and that's why I made that analogy. Okay, now closing this video here. So here's this thing. You have on here's some of my observations of what foreigners in China need to realize, but may not know how to do or do not even know about when they come here. Well, right now China has banned or closed the door to other foreigners coming in. They extended my visa, so I can stay here longer. So here are a few things that as foreigners we need to do when we're in China that we may not know, not realize, not understand. One, we need to get this thing called the coronavirus health certificate. Okay, so like I said, number one, foreigners need not just foreigners, everyone needs a coronavirus health certificate. And there's these things here. Before you enter a city, I took a picture of this here, and it says 微信扫码经信申报, right? And do you have your number, your Weixin number? So you just so in every province you have to scan this, okay? And so imagine you're a guy from Africa or Italy or UK or America, wherever, right? You come to America and you see this thing. What are you gonna do? Can you speak Chinese? No, you can't speak Chinese. So that's another problem. Foreigners can't speak Chinese, and this is like a toll booth. It's while you're driving. It's not like on the street where you're walking. You're driving, and you have to know that you have to scan this, right? If you don't know, you're gonna be in trouble, right? And that's the thing about what's going on here. You have to. This is a Chinese-speaking country, and they just opened up to the world, right? And I want to show you a video I found on the internet that I think that will help foreigners understand how to navigate in China. This is Luma. Obviously, it's green, right? That's what it means. This is yellow, and this is a Hongma, right? Red, right? And the green means that you are good to go, right? You can go anywhere. You can go into the house, like where I'm in that. When I scanned the thing, it turned green, and it allowed me to pass and go in. If it's yellow, I have to be quarantined for 7 days, and what will happen? People will come to your door, and you cannot go outside, and they have to check your temperature every day for 7 days. I think I have a picture of this somewhere on the internet. I'll try to get it. Actually, I'm going to pause the video and try to get this. Hold on. So you had this. He's not a foreigner though. He's a Chinese. This guy here, and these people every day came to his door and checked his temperature, right? Took his temperature, checked everything to make sure that he is safe, right? So now, if you're a foreigner, right, and they knock on your door, right, you don't know what's going on. You probably would open the door and say, "What do you want?" And you probably give them problems, and they just say, "We just want to check your temperature," and you're giving all this. I can imagine the chaos that's going on. You can't speak Chinese, and it's a frustrating. And look, they're trying to do their job. They're just trying to do their job. And maybe you may have a friend who says he can speak Chinese, but he can't. You know, it's like maybe the Chinese is like not so good, not so advanced, and man, it's difficult here. So for some foreigners, you know, who don't really speak fluently. So you have yellow and you have red. Red means that the same thing again. You stay in your house or stay in your hotel or whatever for at least 14 days, and can't go anywhere. Right? That's your quarantine. Anyway, but how do you get these numbers? That's the question, right? Well, before I show you that, some people may think, oh, it's the mark of the beast, because yeah, you know, we live in the big world. Well, we live in the world full of numbers, right? Full of math. When you get your hotel card, right? If your hotel has cards, right? That card has a number, right? Where we don't make a fuss about a card with a number, right? When you have your credit card, debit card, that it has a number on it, and in America we have something called the Social Security number, and this number tracks every citizen, right? Every citizen. And if you don't have the Social Security number, you almost can't do anything. You probably can't buy, sell, do business in America. It's the same thing. You know what? Chinese skipped over the debit card process, and what they are doing is using phones. They use phones for almost everything. They use phones for shopping, paying for everything, getting around. And so you have, voila, these little QR code thingies, right? And it's kind of unique how it evolved in China. And every city is different. Every city has their own codes and laws, right? Within China, they're not all the same. You know, it's not all top down, and it's, even if it's top down, it's every location has their own specialty, right? And then you have autonomous regions. They have their own thing based on their own specific circumstances, right? It's not all blanket flat statement. So here's a video here that shows you how to navigate yourself the coronavirus, both foreigners and Chinese. Okay, there should be English here. All right, Alibaba intends to create QR health codes. Okay. I'm sure you guys heard of Alibaba. It's a stock on the U.S. stock market called BABA. Okay, Baba. It's a stock. Of course, I'm an economic guy. I know all about it. They don't pay dividends yet, but maybe they will. They will one day. Okay. Here we go. So it says here, Alibaba is working with local governments in China, and the way I see it, China has many multi-layered structure, similar to the USA. Okay, QR codes will hopefully help the battle against the coronavirus. They think that in this country, this is their way to battle it by keeping track of everyone. And make sure that you're social distance. You're keeping social distance. Remember, I told you that China is a cashless society and they use cell phones. Well, in this way, you don't have to use cash and hand it to people, right? You can just use your phone, right? And so you don't have to touch the cash. You don't have to touch cards or credit cards. You can just scan things, you know, send text messages, right? Right? Users get different colors depending on their travel history or in health. So I got the pictures wrong. Right? So to enter these supermarkets, you need to have this code, right? Or you want to take a bus or public transportation, you need a code, everything. Every province has their own like code system, so you may go somewhere else, it'll be different. You know. And look, do you say English? No. So if you if you say number in Chinese, they're like, what is that? You say ma, they know ma, right? That means Well, how ma, right? It's number in Chinese. If you say it in English, they don't understand, right? And here you can see because this coronavirus was so an ad hoc situation, you can see that some provinces are working together to recognize other the codes and the laws and situations of other provinces. So you can see how ad hoc it was. You know. Okay, thank you. Xi for the video. I'll pause it and find out where I was left off. Okay, I left off here. So like I said, you need to get this coronavirus health certificate, and and you can, and that's how I got it. That's how I'm able to go anywhere in China in this pandemic. No one prevents me from going anywhere. There's what's it called? Walmart, restaurants, no problems, guys. Also, another thing that foreigners may not realize or need to realize that when you come to China, you need to use locations that have been officially designated to accept foreigners. Because there's some businesses that may operate without license, right? And they're underground businesses, right? These are illegal businesses, shady businesses, underground. Anything underground China is illegal, and you should not touch it, right? They need everything needs a license, right? Anything that involves money, right? Handling of transactions, right? Oh, my light is dying. Hey, right? Anything that involves money, or you need to have a license for it. So businesses need a license to operate in China, and they are designated hotels in China that non-Chinese are allowed to go to that cater to you in English. So the Chinese are trying to, since they know that since they know that their language or our language is Mandarin, and you can't speak English, they want to designate a spot for you where they can cater to you, right? If you go off the board somewhere else, and you're not fluent in Chinese, man, you need a translator. You're like on your own. You're gonna have unnecessary problems, right? So number 3, many foreigners cannot speak Chinese and do not know what a coronavirus health certificate is. You saw the video. I bet you that many of you didn't even know about that, right? Many foreigners do not know how to get health certificates. So you run into a lot of problems. You can't re-enter your hotel complexes. You try to communicate them, and guess what? Tell me what language are those videos that you see on YouTube? People complaining about Chinese people not giving them human rights in the video, right? Tell me what language are they speaking in the video? They're speaking in what? Pure English to them, right? And the Chinese people are like, what the heck? They don't understand them. And maybe some of them are very patient with you. They try to understand. Maybe they'll get someone who their friend who speaks better English than them, but actually they can't speak English either, right? And they're like, oh, what do you want, or why, right? They don't understand, right? You got to speak Chinese to them, because this country's main official language is Mandarin. And this country was closed, and they just opened up, right? Hotels too, So anyway, as a result, us foreigners, we become frustrated. Some foreigners cause problems. They damage things, throw chairs, a whole bunch of stuff. And everything is not owned by the government. You have people who own private businesses, right? And they lose patience, and they can't understand why don't these foreigners obey the rules, right? And they never been abroad, they never been to America, they're just right here in China, and all they understand is how they grew up in. And you foreigners come there and don't obey the rules, and they can't understand, what the heck, I don't understand. Just put yourself in their shoes, and you have people coming in your country doing the same thing, right? You know, also, so they need to know the reason why they need your code and your information. They were in China is they need to know your travel history in the past 15 days. You need to know the Chinese want to know where these foreigners are going in their country. So also number 6, before you go into another city on the road, I showed you before in the video, you have to scan, right? You have to scan the code. Right? You have to do this. But it's in Chinese. So guess what? You have to make sure when you come here to China, you can speak Mandarin Chinese fluently. Okay? or if you can't speak fluently, you have a translator, or at least have some advanced. You can read Chinese at least. You know, if you can't, you need to have a friend. Call a friend, help. Don't call someone outside somewhere who can't speak Chinese. You need that. You need to the people, because no one wants to wait for you to complain. You need to. The more sufficient thing to do is probably to call someone who can speak the language in an advanced way and experience. You maybe just be surprised about what you need to do. Something that you don't really know, right? 7, Chinese citizens are practicing social distancing. They're very adamant about this. Okay, so they're gonna go away from you, right? As a foreigner, they want to keep that distance from you. Okay, they trust what their government is saying about practicing social distancing. They're obeying it. They're listening to it, right? Like I said, so they try not to use those credit cards or use cash or touch stuff too much, right? They pay for things online. No human contact, right? Number 8, because of the coronavirus, everything in every faucet of this in China, right, is not 100% organized, right? However, it is organized enough. It's good enough to make the whole system function, right? That's why we did because of this. Everything's not 100% perfect. You can have major problems when it comes to us foreigners. Challenges because many just can't read Chinese and they don't speak Chinese fluently, right? So, like I said before, get a translator. You come to China, hire a professional translator, an expert translator, or someone who can read Chinese characters in an advanced way. You know, if your friend says, "Oh, I know Chinese," but you know, some of them do that, but they don't know all the intricacies and details of. They don't know. They don't really know the language, you know, in depth. You know. So, especially at a time in crisis, you really need to assess the situation and buckle down and make sure everything. Try to reach out to your friends to help you in the country you're in. You can't be a lone ranger. I know Americans, we like to be lone rangers, right? But in this situation, given the circumstances, it's going to be difficult, right? So let's move on to why foreigners might have difficulties in China. Why foreigners might have difficulties in China. Okay. Identify some problems. Can't speak Chinese fluently, right? Lack of situational awareness and cultural diversity. So you got to understand the type of country that you are in. You can't just go in any country. You know you may end up somewhere crazy, right? Right? I'm not saying China's crazy. I'm not saying China's crazy, but you're an outsider, so maybe what they do will be crazy to you, and if they go to your country, what you do will be crazy to them, like eating pizza or something, right? Like what you're doing, you're eating pizza. It's a bread, and you know. Anyway, so you got to understand where you are. You have to be aware of your situation, surrounding, and you have to have cultural diversity. Anger management problems. Some foreigners just have anger management problems. They can't deal with other people. They're not people persons, and they cause problems, right? Cannot adjust to a collective mindset for collective benefits. You got to remember, what is China? China is a population of people who have a collective mindset, and they're all in for those collective benefits. They look toward the group. And they don't emphasize individuality. They emphasize, okay, for them, human rights is a collective benefit, right? That's how they see it. They don't see it as, like Americans see it. Individuality, emphasize individuality a lot, right? But here it's a little bit different. And I will argue that in America, being independent actually should be interdependent, because we're all actually independent to help each other, right? Not independent so that we don't need each other. But China anyway. China is they don't stress independence. Interdependence. They stress a collective mindset or collective benefits. It's quite a different from a view. You can't point at them and force them to have your way of things, right? Both ways are okay. Right? Also, foreigners coming to China always wanting things to go your way. They're so used to always wanting things to go your way that when it doesn't go your way, you get angry and squabble around. Another thing, improper planning. Improper planning will give you unnecessary what? Unnecessary frustration. And do you want frustration? No, you didn't come to China to be frustrated. You came to China to have fun, right? To try the food, So you have to plan properly. Or if let's say you're doing business, right? You have to plan properly, and then especially during these crazy times. Now here's what's happening on social media, all everywhere, right? So I got this from his name was Loser Lawais before, and you have this foreigner. He is I don't know where exactly he's from. Maybe he's from the USA. Let's say he's from the USA. Okay. Let's say he's a white American, what I call European American, right? And he wrote on his right here, 外国人不是病毒, right? 今天在广州, and I'll explain that. He says that foreigners are not the virus. Today in Guangzhou, this happened, right? So what's the context of this situation? He's on the train, and Chinese are not sitting next to him, and they refuse to even stand next to him, and he feels quite uncomfortable. Right? Is he wrong for feeling uncomfortable? No, he's not wrong. So what happens? China got this virus. We all know, right? And then China just after a few weeks, they got rid of this virus. But foreigners started to bring the virus back into China's borders, right? Whether it's foreign Chinese, Chinese who are foreigners who are not citizens of China or whatever, right? They started to bring or other people like me who would bring the virus back in, right? So this news started to blow up on social media in China, right? And so this foreigner wrote this, 外国人不是暴徒, right? 今天在广州定表, sorry. So you have these white people in China. I'll call them white now. For a reason, you'll understand why. Yeah, I call them white people in China. They have this. They feel that the mainland Chinese are being racist towards them because they're not sitting next to them. Like I said, not even standing next to them, right? But doesn't this, you Black Americans, does this sound familiar to you? African Americans get this treatment by European Americans almost every day. Living, working, breathing in America, okay? We feel the pain, right? We feel terrible. So, and Europeans, white Americans don't realize it. Even some of them seem callous, like, oh, my father did it, right? It's a terrible situation in the USA. And so, but however, African Americans are so used to this. We got accustomed to this. And you can see this, that this situation in America is evident. And it's evidenced by the polarity that you have in the economic resources, the poverty, the psychological problems that has been created in the U.S. and have never been addressed, never reversed, never undone, never resolved, never forgiven, right? Never apologized, and not only in word, but in deed, right? And not only that, this dichotomy, this polarity is still pervasive to this day. Not only the polarity, but the treatment is still like this to this day, right? So is this karma? Maybe so, right? If karma exists. But there's one thing that we need to think about. Faith without deeds is dead. Just as faith without deeds is dead, a simple sorry without action is dead. So just saying, my father did it, I'm sorry, whatever, right? If you don't take any action to it, it's dead. And the country won't be unified. Isn't that more important? Have harmony and peace? That's what we want. That's what we all want. We all sing about this peace. But how to do it? We got to take action. Our fathers made a mistake, right? We got to take action. A simple sorry without deeds is dead. It's like not even saying sorry at all. Just remember that. So here, anyway, going back to this, sorry for that. Going back to this picture here. Chinese here are not, remember my definition of racism? Let's go back there before I go here. Racism is something that is rooted in hate for something that has never harmed anyone. And in this particular case, it's the color, the melanin of your skin. Okay? So Chinese here are not acting racist in this picture. What are they doing? They're taking a precautious measure due to some coronavirus, a virus, or something being carried that's a serious threat to their human life that can kill them, a disease. Right? So the question is, could this foreigner, this Wagwaran, could he be a potential carrier of the disease? Yes. They're scared. Everyone's scared, right? And where are foreigners coming from? Outside of China. Even though a lot of foreigners have been in China, but most of them are coming from out, right? They can't identify it. You don't have a sign on your head that says I'm from China. All you have are what? These QR codes, right? So here you go. Like I said before, this is a message of peace, right? The question is it karma, right? But what we're looking at what's going on with this coronavirus, Earth is sending us a message to all humanity. We are actually one human species, and we all should learn to live in peace with each other, right? And the way to get to the peace, right? How to achieve this peace is we need to be willing to listen to the other side. We can't just make a presumption. You have to first listen. People say that's why you have 2 ears. Listen to the other side. Number two, once we can do that, we can have a healthy communication. Once we do that, we can gain understanding and have a better situational awareness. Once we do that, we can establish something verifiable, right? We can go to those things that are verifiable, time-tested truths of our collective knowledge as human beings. Then we can have mental peace, and then we can have actionable peace. Without that, we're nothing as humans. So going back to China, right? China's law of epidemic prevention and treatment. That's something that we need to do as foreigners in China, right? And like I said before, it varies by province depending on the situation of a particular locality, okay? But the big problem, language barrier. If you can communicate with people in their language, please do that. Right? If you can communicate, if you cannot, you need to find a translator. You need to find an expert to help you, and not just someone who haphazardly knows some part of the language. You need help, okay? To navigate a new language that you can't even read, right? You can't even check the dictionary for it. So if you can do that, you'll be able to better manage the situation, right? And you won't disrupt the laws of the community, right? You won't have problems. Temperature check. They need to check your temperature to ensure other people's safety, and they check other people's temperature to ensure your safety, right? Wear a mask, right? It's against the orders not to have a mask. It's good. You got to do it, right? Another problem is you may buy. Let's say you here's what's going on too. You have a lot of scammers in this world. Okay, you may go on the internet and you want to buy a whole mask in bulk. Oh yeah, I'm buying in bulk, and you say, oh, it's from China. Yeah, but guess what? You got to make sure that those masks that you buy, you need to be a savvy person. Maybe you're new to this internet stuff, right? You need to make sure that the mask that you buy is from official vendors. Okay, official vendors. If you buy them online, make sure they're not from scammers, right? It's hard to tell, but there are official vendors that you can buy a mask from, okay? Make sure it's like that. Don't just grab it and buy anything, all right? Also, make sure you know the purpose, what the purpose of the mask is for. You need to make sure you know what the purpose of the mask is for. You can't just buy any mask, right? Blue mask, red, yellow mask, white mask. What the heck? Maybe a mask, the right mask is where you have enough room to blow air, right? Blow air through it. Maybe the right mask is where you have enough room not to blow air through it, right? Or maybe they both are okay, right? So you need to make sure you get the mask that's for the right purpose, right? You can't just buy any old mask. And before you buy it, you got to communicate with the vendor and ask questions. You just buy a mask. Okay, you need a Corona Health Certificate, right? Corona Health Certificate. And you need to know China's official language. It's Mandarin, right? Most will not understand English unless their major in college was what? English, or business English, right? Those people, they can speak English. So you shouldn't expect people in China not to be able to communicate in business English. I came to China, right? And I met a Nigerian lady. Her cell phone was, this is not a cell phone, but her cell phone was had problems. And she's pointing to the Chinese man and talking to the Chinese man and making these facial reactions, right, at him. Like he understands. With her, he is looking at her, and I think they were there for a long time. I met her, and then I grabbed her. She left her phone there. We grabbed her. We got a bite to eat, or drink or something, bubble tea, and then came back, and I was able to fix the problem. And her Alipay was gone, and she was speaking to him in English. Where's my Alipay app? Blah 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 blah. In English to the Chinese man, and the Chinese man has no idea what she is saying. So we're translating to the Chinese man, explaining what's going on. Oh, okay. Oh, after all those long amount of time, her yelling at him and speaking to him, he doesn't understand her. Hey, he just needed someone to explain to him something simple, and he got it done. Someone who can communicate in his language, he got it done. I paid the man, and then when she got her stuff fixed, she paid me back through Alipay. So yeah, man, you have to speak the language. You can't go around yelling in English, because you know what? Everybody will think you're crazy. Right? So, how do we go from this here? Why does this happen? Right? Why does this happen? You see these foreigners. Here's one foreigner. It's impossible for a foreigner to rent a hotel room in China. So I put my suitcase, blah 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 blah. And this guy here, another news. Look at him. He's pointing at everyone, and he says something like this. It says in the words, "I'll come back forever and tell the 8 million Chinese to get out." Why does this happen in China? I don't think he actually said it. He said something to that effect. It doesn't matter, right? Look at his body expression, right? Look at the way these foreigners are doing, right? I think the guy here was the most humblest. Russell Morgan was the humble one. He slept on the street. So why does that happen and not this? Why does this happen and not this? Well, look, if you look at all the videos of foreigners and Chinese, right? Whatever ethnic group you're coming from, or country you're coming from, there's always the same pattern over and over and over again. When you are coming to China and first of all, you can't speak the language, right? Guess what? There's a barrier of animal instinct right here, a big barrier. And you can see this blue thing here. And you cannot break this barrier of animal instinct because you lack social awareness. You may lack cultural diversity. And if you lack those two things, you're gone, right? You try to go toward this barrier and break through the barrier, but it bounces back against you, right? And you have more frustration, and then everyone gets frustrated, and then the Chinese will go you what why, and you're speaking fluent English, and they're saying you what, no one understands, and there's chaos, right? Pandemonium. You lack of situational awareness, a lack of cultural diversity will bring out the animal instinct, this barrier. No one will understand each other. You cannot speak the language fluently, barrier. You hit a barrier. You have anger management problems, barrier. Always want things to go your way, barrier. Improper planning will cause unnecessary frustration. Lacking communication skills, right? You have to be a people person, right? Improper body language. Pointing at people. I mean, if you point at anyone like that, how would you feel if someone points at you? Barrier, right? Imagine pointing at someone and speaking in another language. Wouldn't that make you either feel uncomfortable? You'll feel pretty uncomfortable if someone does that, points at your nose or face in your own country, right? Another thing is Chinese have this imprint in their mind. They were invaded by Japan, right? They were invaded by Japan, and they're still angry about that. So when you have foreigners coming to China pointing at Chinese, another thing is not only Japan. Before that, you had European powers, Italy, America, all these powers, UK, everyone. They wanted to split China up into pieces, right? Foreigners, right? Then you have World War II, Japan. And now China opened up. And now you have these foreigners pointing at Chinese like that again. How do you think they feel about this? Do you think they're going to be, hey, we'll welcome you? No. You're coming into their openly new China, speaking a foreign language called English and pointing at them. So think about that for a while. The best thing to do is have a better, appropriate body language. Don't point fingers without self-reflection. We shouldn't point fingers at each other without self-reflection because if we want peace, that will cause a barrier. If you want peace, if the goal of you is to have peace and go beyond the animal instinct, then we have a barrier. So how can we get from this to this? Well, body language and mannerism. You saw me in my video the way I behave in front of Chinese. You saw the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I am. You don't have to dress up like this. That's just the way I like to do. That's just my style, okay? Right? Body language and mannerism. You go through the barrier. You gain understanding of the culture. Right? If your goal truly is to have actionable peace and some mental stability, body language and mannerism is important. And they vary by culture, right? If I go to somewhere else, they interpret body languages differently. So, very important. Long-standing patience. In mainland China, there are times that you just cannot understand what the heck is going on here. Okay, and that has to do not only with the mostly with the language barrier. I don't know everything. I'm not super advanced in Mandarin Chinese, so in the words I don't know. It's something like I don't understand, right? So you just have to just shut up. And just okay, I'll be quiet and find out what's going on. Eventually, things trickle down and come together, right? And then when that happens, aha, okay, that's why I get understanding, right? Another thing, friendliness. Friendliness. If you can't speak the language, number one, there's a barrier. It brings out the animal instinct, right? Friendliness can go beyond, can overcome this barrier. Friendliness. And with friendliness, you'll gain an understanding and an insight into the people. And they will be harmonious with you. Right? Healthy communication. Healthy communication. Speaking their language. You go through this barrier of animal instinct. You gain understanding. And they will reflect you. They just mirror who you are. Everyone is just mirroring each other, You can't control them. You can only control what you do. You can only control what you say. It's understandable that we all get angry. It's fine, right? Willingness to listen to the other person's side. So we all can get angry. We all can maybe say things, say things hurtful, say things that are bad, go out on a tirade, throw things around. But guess what? If in the end you're willing to listen to the other side, right? Then you'll break through that barrier of animal instinct and gain an understanding into them, and they to you. It only takes one side to do it. Asking the right people, getting a qualified translator. You need to be able to, in China, you need to be able to communicate, right? So you need to get, if you can't speak the language, get a translator to help you, right? And of course, that will indeed help you gain insight, help you gain understanding, and they will gain understanding of what you're trying to say. Situational awareness. You need to be aware of the situation. Right? And now we're what? Coronavirus time, right? The whole world is a pandemic here. You can't expect everyone to serve you. You can't expect everything to be 100% peachy and perfect and everything laying at your feet, right? You have to plan properly, right? You can't expect things to always go your way. Man, here, the way things are, it is really bad. I'm sure if you look at how foreigners are what's going on in other countries, right? That are not as developed as Japan or Singapore, right? You're gonna see some waiting, some hardships. It's no different, right? Situational awareness, right? And, knowing the language will definitely help you have a situational awareness, better situational awareness, and gain insight and understanding into the culture and the world here, along with proper planning. Another key thing here is being flexible, having the ability to be flexible to adapt, right, to the situation, and then correct yourself. Right? If I'm wrong, I'm going to correct myself. You got to be flexible. Nothing is always black and white in this world. And these things will help you get understanding into them and open a door so that they will go and understand you and your heart, right? And it not only applies during these times of the coronavirus, but it also applies in life when we are looking for peace and mental stability in life, right? A key thing that we need to do is go to establish verifiable resources, time-tested truths of the collective knowledge of humanity. That is so important. What the heck do I mean by that? Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Not that. Not that. Here we go. I found it. You see this here? This is called a peer review in scientific publications. Benefits, critiques, it doesn't matter, right? Benefits, critiques, and survival guide. I'm talking about this here. Peer review in scientific publications, right? This is where we get our facts from, right? Peer review. This is where our collective knowledge of human being comes from expertise, people who are in the field, right? And all these things are verifiable. You can go back and you can check it yourself, right? And it's available to everyone, right? And if you are claiming something, it's available, it's true, right? And it's established, it's verifiable, it's honest. That's what honesty is, right? So it's part of our collective, like I said, part of our collective knowledge of human beings. So now applying it to the coronavirus times, it's no different, right? Coronavirus times in China, you have a law of epidemic prevention and treatment. It's there, right? It's there. Not perfect, but it's there, right? And once you understand those things, I mentioned to you, wearing face masks, right? You know, and obeying all the laws that you see on the QR code, your health certificate, right? Once you follow all of that, and you can speak the language, you're fine, right? You have mental stability, you have peace, and then you can have actionable peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this presentation helps you all as foreigners living in China, but I also hope that this is not the only time that we're going to have a coronavirus, right? And this is not the only time in life where you're going to have a bad situation, or where we're going to have hardships in life, right? Or maybe you're going to debate with someone about some religion, right? Or some fact or some topic, right? Okay, going to life, what do? Go to establish verifiable and time-tested truths of collective knowledge. Where do you get those from? Encyclopedias. Where do you get those from? Peer-reviewed stuff, right? You don't just go on the internet and grab anything off of anywhere, right? So same thing, you know. It's a way to establish actionable peace in society, in the global world. This thing can bring peace to everyone if we just take action, right? Not just understanding. So I hope that this was helpful for you, for everybody. If you have any questions about these QR codes, how to get it on your phone, and you're stranded in China, you can leave a comment. I've done my best. You saw in the videos, right, that I went to the malls, right? I also went to Walmart. I'm back in my home, right? I'm back in this place. No problem. I went to restaurants. I went to malls. No problem. Because look, I did the right thing. And I hope that you do the right thing. Save yourself headache. Give yourself peace of mind, right? And best wishes to you. Take care. And bye-bye.